Hi guys, welcome back to Disney Geeks Podcast. If you're new here, hello, I'm your host Emily, and today it is just me. I was gonna do it with my roommate, but she's very tired and going to sleep right now, so I'm trying to be quiet while I'm recording this. Today I'm going to be talking about Emperor's New Groove. We just watched it. As always, I have my notes, so let's get started. So, as always, I always do a Google description and then my own description. The Google description is: an arrogant young emperor, Cusco, is transformed into a llama by his power-hungry advisor, the devious diva Yzma. Stranded in the jungle, Cusco's only chance to get back home and reclaim the high life rests with a good-hearted peasant named Pacha. Together, they must return Cusco to the throne before Yzma tracks them down and finish them off. My description is: an emperor named Cusco gets turned into a llama and learns the importance of helping others and not being greedy. So, I have details just right off the bat. There are three, that I noticed when I was watching the movie. There are, three Disney actors that are in this movie that I didn't really realize until watching it just now. So one is Patrick Warburton, who plays Kronk. If you've ever been to, I don't know if he's the one for California. I know at Epcot for Soarin', Patrick Warburton is the captain of Soarin', who gives the safety spiel, which is a super random connection. And then John Goodman, who plays Pacha, is also Sully in Monsters, Inc. And then John Fiedler, who plays the old man in Emperor's New Groove, is Piglet in Winnie the Pooh. So those were just some fun facts that I didn't notice until I was watching it this last time. So if you're wondering where you've heard those voices before, that's probably where. I feel like this movie has two things that are pretty uncommon for Disney movies. The first is that it breaks the fourth wall, which, if you don't know, the fourth wall is when people in a play or in a movie or show talk to an audience. So they break the fourth wall in the beginning when Cusco is talking about his life and his story and stuff. He's breaking the fourth wall because he's talking directly to the audience. And then the other thing that this movie does that not a lot of Disney movies do is they show Pacha's wife, Chicha or Chica, not really sure how to say her name, but she's pregnant, and that's something that's not really common among Disney movies. So something about this movie is that it's probably one of the most underrated movies and one of the least talked about movies. And even just doing research for my notes, it was so hard to find anything. But if you don't know this movie, you might know some of these memes, which is the Cusco's poison, the poison for Cusco, the poison chosen specifically to kill Cusco, and then the pull the lever Kronk, wrong lever, why do we even have that lever? You probably heard those memes from TikTok or your other social medias, as they've become pretty popular in the last few years. Something I love about this movie is Cusco's character development. I feel like he starts the movie really selfish and just kind of generally not fun to be around. He's absorbed in money and he only cares about himself. He is constantly hurting other people, and I love that by the end of the movie he is willing to, after kind of seeing everything that Pacha's been through, he's kind of willing to stop and build his Cuscotopia, which is his summer home, somewhere else. And I feel like that just shows I had a lot of growth, and just showing that it's not all about money. Kronk, I have in my notes, Kronk is an idiot, but he's so sweet and lovable. But he's one of my favorites because he just gives off dad vibes, and he just seems so fun, and when he's cooking, he's just so funny. I actually have a theory, this isn't written anywhere, but I have a theory that he like didn't accidentally switch the vials because he actually wanted Cusco to live and he felt bad killing him off. So that's why Krunk made him a llama. That hasn't been confirmed or not by Disney. That's just a theory I have. And then even like after their dinner, when Yzma's like, go kill him, he still doesn't. So that's why I have a theory that Kronk is just a good guy and he didn't really want to kill Cusco. Just a funny detail in this movie is the conscience, where Kronk is having like issues and he is mentally conflicted, and it's the devil and the angel on the shoulder. It's your typical display of conscience. It broke the fourth wall again when Kronk was talking to them at the end, and then Yzma and Pacha and Cusco just kind of like shrugged at each other. I think that was also breaking the fourth wall. Some deep themes we see in this movie is just the like character of Pacha. It's not necessarily poverty, but it's just like they're, I think, probably a little bit under middle class and, you know, just barely getting by. And something that I love about Pacha is that he's willing to do anything for his family. His wife said, get the emperor to move his summer house, and he did. And like, you can just tell his kids love him so much. And I just love Pacha as a character. And then we also see from Cusco the theme of like selfishness and arrogancy. He is really selfish. He wants things done his way. He wants to spend his money. And he's just really arrogant. He doesn't care what anybody else thinks. Like, he doesn't care who he's hurting. He just knows that he's getting his way, and he's happy with that. And obviously that's changes throughout the end of the story. Some other fun details I have are that Patrick Warburton improvised when Kronk is carrying Cusco in the body bag, and Kronk is humming a theme song. That was Patrick Warburton completely improvising that. So he just made it up, which I find hilarious because I feel like it just adds a lot more to the scene. Pacha's name means earth, so there could be like multiple things as to why they named him Pacha. It could be that his like clothes are green, resembling the earth. He has a kind of rounder shape, or he has a very down-to-earth personality. It could be any of those three, but Pacha means earth. There's a joke when Cusco and Pacha are walking through the forest. Pacha is carrying Cusco, and they make a joke about low blood sugar. This is actually a testament to David Spade, who played Cusco, actually is hypoglemic in real life, so that's why they kept that joke in there. Yzma wears purple throughout the entire movie. She, like, even her skin has a kind of purpley complexion to it. And purple is typically associated with the royalty, so it's really interesting that she's wearing purple and not the emperor. But purple is also a very disliked color in other countries, such as like I think it was Japan. I read that purple is just a disliked color. It typically means like you're less than, I think is what I read, if I read that right. During the scene when they are having dinner in Yzma's lair, we see like the candle thing is a character, and I forgot the name of the character, but it was like originally supposed to be someone who was like gonna mentor Cusco, but they wrote it out of the movie and made it a candlestick instead. We see Yzma and Yzma and Pacha and Cusco get into like a pretty violent physical fight at the end. And a fun fact is that Yzma is actually one of the few female, specifically female villains in Disney history that have physically fought. Usually, female Disney villains and just females in general are like, you're not throwing hands with females, which I think kind of like hits on to the idea of like never hit a woman and stuff. So Yzma is one of the few females that actually does physically fight someone. This I saw online, so I didn't see it like when I was watching it, but when Cusco is chased by the jaguars, apparently the leaves in the background make a skull, which is like foreshadowing that he was about to die, even though he didn't end up dying. When they are at the dinner scene, Yzma, I'm trying to keep an eye on the time because it's kind of getting late. When they're in the dinner scene, Yzma pours out her drink because Kronk told her that it had the poison that was supposed to kill Cusco in it, so she pours it out onto a cactus, and the cactus turns into a llama, which is also foreshadowing that Cusco is going to turn into a llama. We see on the map that Kronk and Yzma take, and then Pacha and Cusco take. There's a divot, and this actually represents a literal plot hole. Literal. I don't know why that was hard to say. A literal plot hole that Kronk and Yzma fall into. Another fun fact about this trip is that this whole movie was inspired around Inca art, and the animators went on a 10-day research trip and also studied deeply the movement of llamas because they wanted to make sure that they were being as accurate as they could be. And I think that is really great because it just shows Disney's willingness to go the extra mile. When at the beginning of the movie, when they flash back to Cusco being a baby, the animals that you see like in the background are actually the animals that Cusco turns into during the movies. There's a llama, a whale, and I think a turtle. We see in the devil an angel that Kronk has on his shoulders. There's a pitchfork and a harp, as there usually are devils and angels, except the pitchfork is a W and the harp is a D, which WD is Walt Disney's initials. That could be a coincidence, but it's Disney, so probably not. The poison cabinet that they're opening, and they're trying to find which one has like the human vial. Pacha says lions, tigers, bears, and Yzma says oh my, while she's like holding the vial they're looking for off to the side. This is obviously a reference to Wizard of Oz. It's a very famous line, the lions, tigers, bears, oh my. It's obviously a reference to the Wizard of Oz, which is obviously one of the most famous movies of all time. And honestly, that's kind of all the notes I have. Like, it's a pretty short movie. But I will say that this is one of my favorite Disney movies, and it's probably one of the most underrated. Like, I feel like not a lot of people talk about this movie, and not a lot of people have like heard about this movie. But I think it's really good, and I would love to see it represented more. Like, I know Rock and Roller Coaster at Hollywood Studios Disney World is getting rethemed to the Muppets, and I said that like it would have been not like better, because I know they're still going to do a great job with that, but like it would have been really interesting to see Rock and Roller Coaster get turned into like the ride to Yzma's lair, or like just have a Emperor's New Groove meet and greet, or like something in the parks. I feel like that movie is just really good, and it doesn't have a lot of representation, and it has like a good message of helping others and not letting money and material items consume your life. Like, it has a good message, and it's overall just a really cute movie. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have. So this episode's gonna be a little bit short, but it would be a little bit longer if we were talking to people, and the movie is only an hour and 20 minutes, so that's pretty much all that I have. If you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and press the red subscribe button. You can ding the bell to receive notifications. Make sure you check out my main YouTube channel as well as all my social medias. I will have them linked in the description down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the movie. If you've ever seen Emperor's New Groove, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. I personally, it's one of my favorites, like I said, and I also think it's very underrated. And it's just really, like, genuinely funny. Like, some of the lines and just comedic timing are genius. And I really do love this movie, so. But, yeah. My roommate Neva actually picked it, but she was too tired to be on the podcast, so I wasn't gonna force her if she didn't want to. But thank you guys so much for listening, if you were listening to the Spotify recording, or watching if you were watching the YouTube video. Like I said, you can check out my main YouTube channel and my social medias all in the description down below. And thank you guys so much for tuning in, and make sure you tune in next month where I will be posting another one. Thanks guys, bye!